Welcome to 2025. It'll be a brave new world. Our predictions for what education will look like in 10 years are mainly driven by the fact that the internet will have become such an integral part of our lives we won't even know what life is like without it. Because of this, online classes will be much more prevalent. Education will become more personalized through the use of artificial intelligence. Wearable technology will also become more prevalent due to a drop in cost as time goes on. We don't believe elementary education will change very much. And we also believe that all this technology will cause a decline in social skills. Disruptor number one will be increased online learning. And our predictions for this include that most of the classes at the university level for the first 2 years of your college education will be delivered online. Students will be able to complete their first 2 years mostly through online classes. This then will drive the online learning at the lower levels of education, since things tend to trickle down. And online classes, due to being able to deliver them to large masses of students, will be larger and cheaper than face-to-face classes. As this technology trickles down to the lower levels of education, secondary schools will also offer online classes, although these will probably be a hybrid where students actually attend the online class within a school setting. And elementary education will also have some online classes, but again, we believe this will mostly be for homeschool children. As you can see from this slide, the rise online education has risen to almost 32% of classes offered compared to total enrollment in post-secondary institutions, colleges, and universities. And that's only in the last 10 years or so. So we could predict that this will continue to increase. And the rationale for this is that college has become so expensive and online is a viable option for delivering education to lots of students at a cheaper cost. Students also, many of them are continuing to work while they go to college, also because college is so expensive, and so they need a more flexible schedule. It's also a way to give students classes that are not necessarily being able to offer at a local college, but at a college far away. Students may still be able to take those classes. And it increases accessibility for all students. At the high school level, it again, online learning allows students the option to get a more personalized education. They can take classes also offered elsewhere so they can get a more specialized education. And for many students, it's their way that they can make up units that they have missed because they got D's or F's in classes. As you can see in this image, which is from our current high school, students are in a credit recovery class. There still is a teacher in the room because many times these students are not as motivated as their students. That's why they got the D's and F's. So they still need someone monitoring their progress and forcing them to stay on track. This is an alternative to having students drop out of school, and so far it has been very effective. In the elementary education, we want to expose our students to outside resources and give them also personalized education, so eventually some online learning will occur even at the elementary school level. As stated earlier, it will decrease the cost of college. College currently is quite expensive, and a lot of this is for general ed classes that don't need to be as expensive, since students can complete this at a much cheaper way through online classes, and the flexible scheduling and accessibility. For secondary education, this allows our students to take classes off of their schools, and for many of our students who are athletes or who are taking many AP and IB classes, this gives them some flexibility to fit classes that wouldn't normally fit in their schedule. Personally, I have experience with IB students who can take online IB classes that are not offered at our school. At the elementary level, we believe this will mainly be used for homeschoolers. That provides them with a standardized curriculum so that they are meeting state requirements. And if the homeschool parent is not comfortable delivering a particular lesson, they can access lessons delivered by a trained teacher. Disadvantages are the lack of personal contact with other students in the class and the teacher. Although they'll be able to contact them via text and messages and perhaps via video, it's still not quite the same as being in a group discussion at the same time. It is also very easy to cheat. This is already issues at many schools where students are taking pictures of tests and posting them online using their smartphones. With wearable technology, this will become even more prevalent. it's easy to cheat. Also because you can have someone else take your tests for you if they're offered online. There's no one proctoring you. Students also have to be highly motivated in order to be successful in online classes, and for many students this is quite a challenge. And because of the asynchronous discussion, it's difficult to get help from instructors or other students in a timely manner. And finally, there could also be possible problems with the technology connections. The next disruptor that we believe will significantly affect education in the next 10 years is the development of artificial intelligence that will be built into learning software. So this will allow students to use software to decide how they're going to be educated. The software will adjust the difficulty and level of the problems and content that the students are learning so that it meets their individual needs. This will allow teachers to differentiate instruction much more easily. We also believe that this software will replace paper assessments in most content subjects, just as the SVAC assessment system is currently doing. The software will adjust the difficulty content and test questions to match the student's ability. The SVAC tests are already designed to do this. We predict that this will continue to be developed even further in the future. The beauty of this is that students will not move on until they've mastered content, and so perhaps they won't struggle as much in later classes. So one of the many advantages is that the learning is totally driven by the student. It's student-centered. They're determining how fast they're going to go through the material. There's unlimited resources if you have the internet available to you, unlimited content that they can access. And if they are really accelerated, they perhaps could graduate early. Perhaps they could even get through college before they're 22. One of the main disadvantages is if your student is not highly motivated, this is difficult for them to complete. We would still want our students to meet certain benchmark levels, but if they're not motivated, this will be hard to force them to do. Also, the technology can be expensive. Maintaining the technology, a lot of the items that we're using currently only are designed to last 3 to 5 years, and school districts are already strapped for money. Also, upgrading the technology can be quite expensive. We believe that this will lead to a further discrepancy between rich and poor school districts. The rich districts will be able to provide the technology, the poor won't. And similarly, students who come from higher socioeconomic backgrounds will have more access to resources and parents that can help them with this technology. So we believe that this will increase the gap between the haves and the have-nots. Our final disruptor we believe that we're going to talk about is wearable technology. We believe that this is going to be a major force in the next 10 years also. It is already starting to take off. Students with this technology are always connected. They either have their smartphones on, or their smartwatches on their wrists, or they're connected to their smartphones. They're always connected. If there's development of Oculus Rift type of glasses, virtual reality type of glasses, students will be able to take virtual field trips anywhere, and also be able to, for example, for in a language class, be able to communicate with people across the world in the language that they're studying. Global collaboration will also be possible with this sort of technology. Of course, there are disadvantages of this because, as we all know, technology can also be very distracting. So if students are constantly connected, they can also be constantly distracted. So it's just something that's going to have to be learned by both individuals and teachers on how to manage this. The cheating will probably be quite rampant, and it'll be up to the teacher to be extremely vigilant when giving assessments or perhaps giving alternative assessments. As again, it is very easy to use technology to cheat. In fact, there is an article, 50 ways to cheat using technology that's online that shows students quite easily how to cheat. Face-to-face social skills may also diminish. These students will be so connected to technology and so used to communicating via technology that they will have a harder time communicating in person. Students will also have to get used to the idea of not having any privacy because they're always wired, they always can be tracked, and because they're always connected, their devices are subject to hacking. Most of these changes that we're talking about will occur at the secondary level. We still believe that K-5 education will remain largely unchanged. Although technology will be included in the classroom, we believe that there will be fewer online classes, that students at this age level still need the one-to-one, the personal interaction with a teacher to learn how to behave, to get guidance on how to use technology. Also, the funding for technology usually starts at the higher grades and works its way down, so it will take some time to trickle down to elementary school. And also, to be quite frank, parents still like having elementary schools as a way for them to get childcare. It'll be a place where they know their students are in a safe location. Finally, we also believe that with all the good that comes out of technology, there are certain bad things that will happen, such as social skills will decline. There is a worry that students will start to behave inappropriately at school and other places because they're always online. It's easy to comment in an anonymous manner online and say whatever you feel like, and so they will have to learn how to be polite to each other. As social media replaces face-to-face relationships, superficial relationships become more prevalent. It's harder to maintain a deeper relationship with someone that you're not talking to regularly. And perhaps this might even lead to a backlash against use of technology, constant use of technology. This has already started to happen in some places. Lack of social skills will lead to antisocial behavior, social isolation. Although the internet can also connect everybody and make them feel connected, it can also make people feel isolated. That's a very fine line. So these are some of our predictions for what will happen in the next 10 years.